I feel like I can still talk about Christmas because at the time of making this video, Christmas was only 2.5 weeks ago. Imagine you buy a cake for Christmas, the cake gets delivered and it's damaged, there's cracks, it slides off the cake board. And then imagine when you find out that this happened to 800 other people. Now this happened in Japan in Christmas 2023. A store called, I've written it down so I'll say it properly, Takashimaya, which is a luxury store. It's kind of the equivalent to Selfridges in the UK. They delivered, it was 2,900 cakes, and out of the 2,900 cakes, 800 were damaged upon arrival. The store obviously profusely apologized. They weren't sure what caused it. What they did say is that the cakes were frozen and then they were taken out of, the freezer to be delivered. Now, what could have caused the cracks and the damage was when you go from really cold to not even really hot, but a warmer temperature, that could cause cracks in the cake because of the change of temperature. But what can also cause cracks is delivery. When you're delivering cakes, you've got to be so careful with how you package it and how you store it in the car or the truck. When I used to do cakes, I don't drive, so people would come and pick them up. And I always said, you either put it in the boot or you put it in the footwell in the passenger side, obviously with no passenger. But the main reason is to keep it level. So those two places are flat, so that keep the cake level. You don't put it on the car seat because that's angled, and you don't give it to somebody to hold because that's not stable either. So as long as you do that, hopefully your cake will arrive in good shape. Also, you've got to be careful of how you drive, no sudden braking or anything like that, because again, that can cause damage to the cake. I'm not sure if the people who received the damaged cakes in Japan, if they got any kind of compensation. I hope they did, because who wants a damaged cake, especially for Christmas? But I think it's just a cautionary tale, just to be aware of, all the different factors that can affect cake. I next want to talk about this influencer scandal. You may have heard of this, you may not. So this happened in Christmas 2022. An Italian influencer called, I've written the name down because I don't want to say it wrong, Chiara Ferragni. I don't know if I'm saying that right. She's a fashion influencer. I mean, I've never heard of her, but I'm not really into fashion. She has over 30 million followers on Instagram, so she's a pretty big deal. So in Christmas 22, she was doing this project where she was working with a company where they had this cake that if you bought it, what they said, Chiara and the company, was that the majority of the money from the sales of the cake would be going to a charity. But what they didn't tell people was that they had already given a donation to this charity way before this project was even thought of. So it's basically fraud, isn't it? It's like you're saying that this money that you buy this cake, and a lot of the money that you pay for it is going to this charity. Well, actually it's not. And Chiara herself and the company, she had lots of sort of different satellite companies that people do, when you're in business. And I think the businesses gained like €1 million from it. Then it all came out that what they said they were going to do didn't happen. And she got fined a large amount of money from like the kind of Italian authorities who investigated it. And she made the obligatory "I'm sorry" video that people do, obviously when they get caught. And obviously in that video she was wearing, grey clothes, no makeup, teary-eyed, basically saying, I had best interest in heart. I had no intention, it wasn't my intention of defrauding anyone. So yeah, but it's very sneaky to do that, because you're taking people's sort of trust and you're saying to them, yes, sales from this cake is going to this charity. And it's like, well, no, they're not. It's going into my pocket. So it's very, very misleading thing to do. And Again, Cake was involved in this. Cake was the innocent party in this. So those are just a couple of stories that caught my eye over the last couple of months. Let me know what you think about these stories in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Until next time, Cake lovers.